As members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we are often told to stand up for what we believe. This, however, is not always easy. My sophomore social studies teacher, Mr. Matson, was a stern-looking, no-games kind of man. He was that teacher that you heard about and then you prayed that you would not get him. The very first day in his class was nerve-wracking to me. As we sat there and listened to the morning announcements, and then they finished up, we were instructed to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. As myself and my class began to stand, Mr. Matson told us to remain in our seats, that we would not be participating in the Pledge of Allegiance. When the rest of the school finished reciting the pledge, Mr. Matson explained to us that he was an atheist and that he did not believe in the Pledge of Allegiance. He believed that it was a religious affirmation and that we would not be participating in it in his class. In retrospect, I wish I would have stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance and for its symbolic nature to not only our country, but to God's role in its formation. We can't take God out of our country and expect to be successful. It is only with him that we will prosper. The Pledge of Allegiance is one of the greatest symbols of our nation. The flag and the pledge boost morale and create unity within our nation. Recently, the pledge has come under attack by individuals who wish to remove the words "under God." They want these words removed because they believe it amounts to coercion when we make our young children recite the pledge in school. They believe the pledge to be unconstitutional, therefore un-American. The Pledge of Allegiance is an expression of fidelity to the United States flag and to the Republic of the United States of America. The pledge was originally arranged by Francis Bellamy in 1892 and was formally adopted into Congress in 1942. The last change made to the Pledge of Allegiance was done so on June 14, 1954 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower when he authorized the change to add the words "under God." President Eisenhower said at that time, "In this way, we are reaffirming the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. In this way, we shall constantly strengthen those spiritual weapons which forever will be our country's most powerful resource in peace and war." Do the words "under God" suggest religious coercion or advocate for a specific religion? The opposition would like you to believe that because we reference God, it must be and can only pertain to a religion. However, the pledge's language reaffirms not only our religious heritage, but a reflection of America's civic culture. The very way in which we stand, place our hand over our heart, and turn toward the flag demonstrate a civic historical directive. The very purpose and nature of the pledge is secular. The individual that pledges allegiance does so to the flag and in no way specifies a specific religion or supreme being. The affirmation remains secular to the historical belief that those who founded this nation did serve God. LDS prophet Joseph Smith said, "The time will come when the destiny of this nation will hang upon a single thread. At that critical juncture, this people," referring to the LDS people, "will step forth and save it from threatened destruction. As members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it is our responsibility to acknowledge the hand of God in the creation of our free nation. This nation was founded upon Christian principles, and our founding forefathers believed that God had a direct hand in its establishment. For instance, Thomas Paine said, 'The cause of America is in great measure the cause of all mankind.' Where, some say, is the King of America? I'll tell you, friend, he reigns above. The pledge, like the Constitution, is a creator, not a redeemer. It in no way establishes a state-sponsored religion. It is a historical recognition of God's hand in America's foundation. Affirmations of God are found in our federal laws, our state constitutions, our national anthem, and even printed on our currency. According to the Procon website, this country's federal code includes 68 references to God. One example includes our national motto, which is, 'In God We Trust.' At the state level, there is also mention of God. In fact, all 50 states reference God or a supreme being within their constitution. For example, Utah's state constitution proclaims, "Grateful to Almighty God for life and liberty." Are the words under God unconstitutional? We have all heard the phrase separation of church and state. However, that phrase never appears in the Constitution. What appears in the Constitution is the First Amendment that states, Congress will make no laws regarding the establishment of religion or that they will prohibit free religious exercise. The Pledge of Allegiance in no way references a state-sponsored religion and is therefore constitutional. W. Todd Atkins, a United States representative, said this, "The decision that the Pledge of Allegiance is unconstitutional reflects a misunderstanding of our Constitution. Belief in a creator is central to the ideas upon which our nation was founded. To suggest that listening to the Pledge of Allegiance may harm any child is absurd. To block schools from allowing the pledge adds arrogance to absurdity." Mr. Matson, my sophomore social studies teacher, actually had a deep devotion to this country, and especially the flag. His comments on the first day were to test to see if any of his students would stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I am ashamed that I did not, but I learned a valuable lesson. Stand tall in the face of opposition for those things that really matter most. As an atheist, Mr. Matson was not a religious person, but he still believed the words under God should remain in the Pledge of Allegiance. He told us he didn't believe in God himself, but that didn't stop him from believing our founding forefathers and their belief in a supreme being. We should not be ashamed of the pledge's wording. They are remarkable examples of this country's ability to exercise religious tolerance, show devotion to our nation and its founders, and accept the diversity that exists here in the United States. My hope in addressing the Pledge of Allegiance today is that if and when the time comes for you to stand up for this country and our founding forefathers, whether it be the flag or the Pledge of Allegiance, we will do so. That unlike me in high school, when confronted, we will stand a little taller and make sure that God is not forgotten in our society, and that his divine intervention played a significant role in this country's organization, that we truly can become, like the Pledge of Allegiance says, indivisible from him.